Hey everybody, it's Matt from Eastwood Company. We're at SEMA 2013, and when you're walking around, you see all kinds of Camaros and typical cars you see every year. The Studebakers. You don't see too many Studebakers, especially like this. We're with the builder, Kurt, from Hills Rod & Custom.
How you doing?
Thanks, man. And he's going to tell us about the car. This thing caught my eye Sunday when I was walking around. They had just pulled the cover off of it, and this thing is so killer, and there's so many cool things done to it. We wanted Kurt to tell us the story behind it. So what's the story behind finding a car and how you went about building it?
So what we got here is Dennis Farney bought this at an auction 5 years ago. He Joe McPherson collection, they started it. We went ahead and drew up a concept of what it was going to look like. We started out with the front end 51 Studebaker, made custom bumpers in the front, all from scratch. Try to keep the Studebaker look in the front with a bullet nose. Went ahead and put 37 Ford front headlights on it, chopped the windshield, leaned it back, and decided to make it a Fastback Woody. Repaired some pieces on the car, basically from here up, this whole piece across the top. Made a new piece that was all rusted out. Found a stock stainless for around the windshield, cut that down, polished it, and then went ahead and started laying out the back. The rear fenders are a Studebaker fender that have been shortened.
Oh, okay.
Went ahead and made up this quarter window, all the steel around that. That's got a Morrison chassis that we spec'd out for the car.
Oh, cool.
So.
And the most obvious thing that jumps out at you, it's a Woody.
Right.
This wasn't something that came like that originally. What made you decide to, or the customer decide to do it as a Woody, and what was the process? I mean, this is a lot of wood on this thing.
Yes. So with the Woody, it started out, the concept that we bought started out with the wood. We went ahead and made all steel tubing around underneath the wood.
Okay.
So there's a structure,
right,
and the wood bolts down to it. All this wood right here has all been hand ground. You can see the curve in the wood.
Right, yeah.
It's a quarter-inch thick, and we started out with thick pieces of wood, and they hand ground all the panels in it.
So they actually shaved this,
Yes.
shaved it down like you would shave foam for a seat or something.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this wasn't, and we were talking earlier about this wasn't something people think of shaping wood where you the old-time way of getting it wet and
Yes, and
clamping
steaming
it.
it. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
so
we cut it out and shaped it by hand.
That's really cool. So what type of wood is this that you have on?
We have wavy maple on the frame here,
Okay.
and then we have mahogany in the middle.
Very cool.
And it's stained, and then it has an automotive clear on it, so it can hold up to the elements. The customer plans on driving it cross country to a bunch of shows and using it after we take it to all these indoor car shows, I would say.
Right.
So the rear hatch, what we got here, the tailgate opens up first, and then the rear hatch lifts up from there.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
As you can see, the wood on the inside is the same as the outside, so it's all clear coated, and custom latch here we made to make all that work using chains, kind of the old style, and we'll have upholstery over these so they don't scratch the paint and everything.
Oh, cool.
The other thing on the back of this thing is we have the rear fenders. They come out, and from here down we've made the whole rear fender, custom tail lights, the bezels, the lenses, all of the exhaust tips, and the rear pan. Everything's been made back here.
Very cool. So the last thing that caught my eye about this that we have alluded to, the under the hood.
Yes.
Let's go a little bit of a story to the engine that's under here. It's not a Studebaker. Can you give us show us the engine and
Absolutely.
give us the history of it? When I spotted this, I took a couple photos Sunday, put one on our Facebook just to kind of tease Eastwood customers to see what it was, and we got some outlandish answers of what they thought it was. What is the engine that's under here, and what's this injection system?
This is an Edsel 400, basically an FE motor.
Okay.
And the injection system was built by aircraft mechanics back in 1959. And the point of the injection was to have 25% more horsepower and 25% more fuel economy.
Really?
And they designed it. They claimed that they made 3 of them. This is the only one that I know of in existence. So the owner was at a swap meet 30 years ago and saw this thing sitting in a stall and knew he saw it somewhere.
Okay.
So he went ahead and purchased it, very little money, and put it on a dummy block in his shop.
Okay.
And been looking at it for the last 30 years. And he knew he saw it somewhere, and went back home and found the Hot Rod magazine. It was on the cover of Hot Rod in 1959, the June month.
Wow.
So what we did was all these were manual injectors up top,
Okay.
and we went ahead. That obviously wasn't going to work driving on the street.
Yep.
So we put new injectors down in the middle, weld them in, but you can barely see them with a computer controlling it, so you can actually drive it on the street, which we plan to do.
Very cool. So have you guys done any kind of dyno tuning or anything to see what it's?
Yeah, we had this thing, the motor guy, Dan Brewer, he works down at Schaefer Racing Engines in LA.
Okay.
They dynoed it. It made 390 horsepower and 425 torque.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was very little tuning because we were on a time crunch trying to get this thing done. And it's not quiet. it's going to turn some heads. It looks like the car looks like it'll go fast, and I think this motor is going to do the same.
Thank you for showing us this one-of-a-kind Studebaker.
Absolutely.
Kurt.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, and,